All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war. Same old song. They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear. But they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't hear.
All right, so check it out, folks. I'm back here, and wow, this is just one of another doozy. We could say, I don't expect that things will get better in the next next 6 months or so in the U.S. It seems to be a serious battle for control over the country. There seems to be a lot of just things that we've never seen before going on. The military hitting the streets, the threat of the military being used against the civilian population. There used to be, like strict laws that the U.S. followed. There was an idea, and military people know what I'm talking about. You join the military, and you are told in training, you do not enter into civilian affairs, period. That used to be a staple in the U.S. Well, that is no more. I mean, Donald Trump has been ordering military type troops to take care of civilian issues, policing, things like this, robbery. I mean, this is what he said. It's only going to be the ones that are doing crimes. That's called crime catchers. You know what I'm saying? But instead of having the police and that, we have military. Okay. But in any case, the latest news, and there's always news every day. This story is following up. It's not the only news. There's too much news to report. So we can only go over the stuff that's really stunning and stands out. And unfortunately, it's never all the news. Trump seems to be getting his way. And yes, I call this, this one is about the PDFs. Epstein, the elitist PDFs, the secret PDFs, the ones that are purported to have shown up to places like New York City, Florida, Epstein Island. They show up, they're on camera showing up. They say hello when they show up, they greet, they shake hands. We've seen this kind of behavior when you go to a party. You're shaking hands because there's security, there's cameras, there's elite people there. It's for their own security. And then there's other cameras. Well, Epstein is one of those stories. He owned homes in Texas, New York, Florida, Epstein Island. He had his own island, and there's more. Now, people have been mingling with this. The aristocrats have been mingling with this. Aristocrats being, high to do folks. This could be people that are in government, senators, Congress people. This could be the president, Trump. It could be Trump. I think he was there. Yes, we could be sure that he was there. Click like, please, and subscribe. Also, please click like if you like what you're seeing. If you're here, click like. But in any case, even if you hate it, click like. I don't care. But or click unlike. It helps the algorithm. But in any case, we know Trump seems to be very, very close, purportedly there often. And he likes the guy, He knows a lot about Epstein, and Epstein knows a lot about him. And these guys were friends. Well, in any case, they had places, and there's people and things, Now the minors are, they have gone on record themselves and said they were basically sex slaves, told what to do under threat, life under threat, families' life under threat. Now, obviously, these aren't rich folk we're talking about. So if you're broke and you have not a lot of money, you got some debt, things like that, think about this. This could have been you. Trump is out there passing laws to take away health care, to take away access to education, to take away your civil rights, freedom. I mean, being a slave means you don't have freedom. And these people described it as being sex slaves. Just because the sex was there doesn't remove the slave part. It means their civil rights were violated. And yes, it's been stated in court documents, at least in some of the in depositions taken in civil cases. Now, check this out, because obviously there's not a lot of criminal action going on. We went over the fact that Acosta is a Trump appointee. He's the one who basically gave the plea deal to Trump, right? And there's others involved with that are in Trump's back in his pocket. By the way, this guy, one of the lawyers, what's his name, Dershowitz, he's the one who wrote up the plea thing. That's a very close associate of Epstein and Donald Trump. He wrote that up for Epstein. He wrote the whole plea deal where they had hundreds of victims. They had 5 that were willing to come and speak in court. They had 25 people that also witnessed it, that could account to it, and somehow it got taken out of the local prosecutor's hands in Florida and got given to the state. Now, again, notice the hierarchy. That is where Acosta comes into the picture. He is, a lawyer could be, a DEA could be one of those aristocrats in that PDF circle. Dershowitz has been reported and accused of being one of those PDFs in that circle. He's a lawyer. So think about it as aristocrats. They don't want broke ass pedophiles. So if there's any broke ass pedophiles out there, they don't want you in their circle. You're nothing to them. You're scum. Any type of broke ass criminal, a criminal that's struggling, a criminal that needs some help. If you come from an average community and you're a criminal, a bank robber, a drug dealer, selling sex, prostitution, you're not in their class. They could care less about you, man. Okay, so don't be rooting for them. These are elitist. They hate your ass also, okay, just to be clear about it. So, I have to say that because some people actually thought Trump was out to help their ass. I don't understand it, but some broke asses thought that. A lot of MAGA broke asses thought that. Well, I guess this is what you call help. I don't know. But in any case, Trump has these pictures come out, right? And I'm going to play some video. So this is just my lead-in commentary. Trump, in case people don't know, you cannot hide the evidence. Pam Bondi, if you're listening, you're going down if you attempt to hide any evidence. Kash Patel, if you attempt to hide any evidence, you are dumb. You better run when Trump is out of office. You better leave the country. And I have no doubt you have another passport. I have no doubt. Maybe I'm wrong, but the information is out there. The information has been out there. Comey, the lead attorney who prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell, she's seen it. Her offices have seen it. Others have seen it. You don't know how many other people had access to that information through Epstein either prior to his arrest. There's been, in the last week, people have talked about this tape. There's obviously lying going on or misinformation being given by Pam Bondi about the tape. No, it wasn't a minute really missing from that jail tape. No, it was 3 minutes. It was doctored, what they showed people. Everyone pretty much knows something ain't right about Epstein's death, at least the policing. Maybe he killed himself. Maybe he hung himself. But the police damn sure ain't good at investigating that either. You see what I mean? They miss some things in their inquiries, in their investigations. They seem to miss a lot. But in any case, Trump now has more news coming out, and it's going to be more news. This guy had the nerve to write a letter, a birthday letter, to Epstein. I mean, what the hell? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. I hope this is it right here. I'm bringing it up on the screen. This is Just too
Look
much.
at what's reported about Trump's birthday message to Epstein in 2003, according to the Wall Street Journal and other outlets. Text of the purported letter and drawing. Format: a typewritten note, formatted as an imaginary dialogue between Donald and Jeffrey. Transcribed dialogue. There must be more to life than having everything, Donald. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is, Jeffrey. Nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common.
Because they both know what it is, because I also know what it is. This sounds like a serious pedo love letter. Click the like button, please. If you're here, there's a lot of people in the chat. It's 127 people watching. Do a brother a solid. You know, just do a brother a solid. You're here, click the like button. Yes, but this is like a pedophile love affair. I mean, do you even write letters like this to your girlfriend? To your boyfriend? Yeah, it's a secret. It's a secret. I mean, this is intimate. This is intimate right here.
Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. It concludes, happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Site turn search forward 4 turn search 11 news. Framing this text was a hand-drawn nude woman, marker outline, with Trump's signature Donald placed just below her pelvis, described as resembling pubic hair. Site turn search 11 turn search 8 turn news 45. Context and provenance. The Wall Street
God.
Journal reported the letter was part of a leather-bound 50th birthday album assembled by Ghislaine Maxwell.
A leather-bound birthday album with loads of other people that gave birthday letters in it. That's a lot of witnesses. That's a lot of people that know about this. That's not going away. That's not going away. And Donald Trump's first words, that's fake news. That's fake news. The same thing he says about everything. I mean, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, he didn't even exist really as a president according to Trump. That's the code, the magic pen, the auto pen. That wasn't Joe Biden. But they blame Joe Biden for everything. But no, Joe Biden, that was fiction, right? Everything's fiction with Trump. It's all fake news. You never saw it. You never heard it. Even if he said it, you heard it wrong. It was just a joke, But this man is claiming that that's fake news. By the way, he's claiming that he doesn't write. He doesn't. What is it? What did they write? Hold on here. Let's listen. This is ridiculous. Pictures. Yeah, bring this back up. I can see the net is a little slow. 2 seconds. All right, here we go. Come on. All right. So here we go. So let me pull this one back up. This dude had the nerve to say he doesn't draw, he doesn't write pictures. I mean, what the hell is up with this guy?
About Trump's alleged birthday
One more
message
time.
to Epstein in 2003, according to the Wall Street Journal and other outlets. Text of the purported letter and drawing. Format: a typewritten note, formatted as an imaginary dialogue between Donald and Jeffrey. Transcribed dialogue. There must be more to life than having everything, Donald. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is, Jeffrey. Nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. It concludes, happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Site turn search forward 4 turn search 11 news. Framing this text was a hand-drawn Trump's signature Donald placed just below her pelvis, described as resembling pubic hair. Site turn search 11 turn search 8 turn news 45. Context and provenance. The Wall Street Journal reported the letter was part of a leather-bound 50th birthday album assembled by Ghislaine Maxwell, featuring notes and drawings from Epstein's circle, including from Trump, Leslie Wexner, Alan Dershowitz, and others. Site News 45 turn search 11. Trump has vehemently denied writing or drawing it, calling the story fake and threatening legal action, stating, "I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women." Site turn news 19, turn search Nige. What's confirmed versus alleged? Reported by WSJ and others. Trump's response. Trump's response. Ensay. Typewritten joke dialogue message to Epstein. Denies authorship, calls it fake. Mark a sketch of nude woman with signature Donald. Denies ever drawing anything like that. Found in Maxwell compiled leather-bound album. Threatened to sue for defamation. Bottom line. The full text as provided above and the explicit description of the nude sketch are based solely on the Wall Street Journal as cited by Al Jazeera, Hyperallergic, The Guardian, Politico, etc. Site 8
All
turn
right.
search, 8 turn search, 11 turn news, 45 versus
Listen.
turn news, 46. Trump denies both the words
my
and
God.
image and is pursuing legal action. If you'd like to explore the original WSJ report or coverage in other reputable...
He denies it, and he's going to sue, as he always does, right? But the responses basically are highly defensive, highly impulsive, not well thought out. Ghislaine Maxwell, he mentions her name. I mean, her name is mentioned. They're saying it's a book that she gathered up things for Epstein. This is her helping Epstein. It's Epstein's book. They have seized this book. There are witnesses to this book. So likely not going to disappear. Dershowitz's name is mentioned. He's mentioned as one of the people given a letter. He's been alleged to have been a person that committed some acts. He spent a lot of time on Epstein, with Epstein. He's saying it was representing him as an attorney, but that's not what everyone seems to think. They're saying now that he's been caught red-handed in some lies. So the more people talk, the vast amount of people that were involved over the decades, y'all, these people ain't going to escape this. But the thing is that right now they rule. Right now they're running shit. Trump is the president. He doesn't want that list. He doesn't want the files coming out. Screw the list. There was never a list. He doesn't want the evidences that can bring more guilty prosecutions against any of the elitist, aristocrat types. He doesn't want them brought to justice. Essentially, that's what this is about. Keeping the secret. And whether it's a pedophile cabal, secret cabal, which it sounds like it is, it involves secrecy. And where there's this type of secrecy, it involves basically betraying the American people. When you have aristocrats keeping this kind of secrecy, underhanded dealing, blackmail, it has so many parts to it. No American citizen, no matter what political party you're involved in, no matter even if you vote, even if you don't vote, you should be against this. You should want this all those documents released, because this is your ass on the line. Your tax dollars are being controlled by other forces for other reasons. That's what this is about. Okay, whether all the pedophiles are caught or not, no, some of them probably died already, but a lot of them are still alive. A lot of them are still alive. You can see Trump's old asses. He was there. Now, let me go on to check this out, what has been said about Dershowitz here, which is really revealing. This is Hodges' report here coming up. Check this out. They're talking about Dershowitz.
But let's talk a little bit about what we do know about Dershowitz, for instance, who makes these claims that he only traveled on the Lolita Express with his wife. The flight logs is exposing that to be untrue. But what do we do know about what happened, what these powerful men did within, this Epstein orbit?
Well, Dershowitz is long been a misogynist, for sure. And what happened with Dershowitz is Virginia Giuffre submitted an affidavit and said that she had been molested by him up to approximately 6 times. And then Dershowitz went on an offensive against her two attorneys, Brad Edwards and Paul Cassell, and Cassell had been a former federal judge. And Dershowitz was pounding on his chest saying, I'm going to get their licenses to practice law. I'm going to make sure that they never practice law again. I only fly with my wife. She flies everywhere with me. Well, then I got the flight logs, and actually Dershowitz is taking lots of flights with girls like Tatiana and Claire, and his wife is noticeably absent from those flight logs. And in the Gawker article I wrote, he was asked, what about this girl? What about that girl? And his steel trap mind became rather rusty because he couldn't remember those girls. And actually, when we asked him what the third, there was a third girl that was, her last name was unknown, and he decided to diffuse it with humor. He said, that could have been my mother. So with Dershowitz,
And they started off by saying he's a misogynist, a well-known misogynist. So there's people that know him to be a misogynist. We only get to see Dershowitz when he gets on TV, and you can see some cracks in his conversation, but you would never imagine that a lot of people just see him as a well-known misogynist. You know, that means a woman hater, essentially. And this guy said, that could have been my mother. Well, there you go. Sounds like something's there.
The age of consent to be 14, regardless of someone's partner, and which is pretty horrible. And
I'm sorry, y'all just missed something very important. I'm going to play this back. He said that Dershowitz lobbied to have the age of consent taken down to 14. Yes, I'm going to play this back.
But he believes in that. And
but let's talk a little bit about what we do know about Dershowitz, for instance, who makes these claims that he only traveled on the Lolita Express with his wife. You know, the flight logs is exposing that to be untrue. But what do we do know about what happened, what these powerful men did within, this Epstein orbit?
well, Dershowitz is long been a misogynist, for sure. And what happened with Dershowitz is Virginia Giuffre submitted an affidavit and said that she had been molested by him up to approximately 6 times. And then Dershowitz went on an offensive against her two attorneys, Brad Edwards and Paul Cassell, and Cassell had been a former federal judge. And Dershowitz was pounding on his chest saying, I'm going to get their licenses to practice law. I'm going to make sure that they never practice law again. I only fly with my wife. She flies everywhere with me. Well, then I got the flight logs, and actually Dershowitz is taking lots of flights with girls like Tatiana and Claire, and his wife is noticeably absent from those flight logs. And in the Gawker article I wrote, he was asked, what about this girl? What about that girl? And his steel trap mind became rather rusty because he couldn't remember those. When we asked him what the third, there was a third girl that was, her last name was unknown, and infused it with humor. He said, that could have been my mother. So with Dershowitz, and he's lobbied for the age of consent to be 14, regardless of someone's partner, and which is pretty horrible. And but he believes in that. And
Did y'all hear that? Dershowitz, as a lawyer, he's the one that got Epstein off on the plea deal the first time in Florida. with ACOSTA, being the DA. He was the prosecutor who, the first time in history a prosecutor goes after to disparage the victims. But again, that case was taken from the local DA and brought to the state level DA that gave him a pass. You know, the levels there gave him a pass. Well, Dershowitz was the one defending Epstein at the time. He worked on the plea deal. And they're saying that this guy, he lobbied to have the age of consent brought down to 14. This is facts. You can pretend like it's not real all you want, but it's facts. It's facts. This is the Hodges report, by the way. They don't do fake news. You know, they're lawyers themselves. They can be sued for disseminating fake news. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump sue, because he just sue anybody for anything and loses. I'm talking about I'm talking about real stuff, right? So again, click the like button, subscribe. But in any case, let's go on. That's if you want more people to hear the stream. Click the like button and subscribe. If you don't, just sit back and listen. Because there's some, you know, this is the world. In the chat, I see. Big up to the ones that's there, the good ones, to the faithful. Appreciate y'all. Now, let me see. They saying that Dershowitz lobbied. So this is key. Now, you might see Dershowitz out there saying he wants the files released. I'm quite sure he does, because if there's worse things in there than just being caught on a plane with a person where they can't prove something with, but you're caught on the plane and this person has been involved with others. If it's just that, I could imagine he's prepared to fight this out. But if there's the only way it works for him to say release it, because that's what Dershowitz has been saying, either he knows it won't be released or he knows there's worse crimes. To me, that's what it tells me. He knows there's way worse things involved. He has admitted, I believe, to getting a massage once. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But in any case, if he has admitted to that, then that's a secret language also that they use. Now, let's go over one other thing here. Let's see here. Here we go.
Case continues to grow. The administration says there's nothing left to see. No client list, no big revelations. But tonight, a Florida attorney who's represented Epstein's victims since 2007 says that's just not true, claiming powerful names and hidden evidence are still out there. Investigative reporter Terry Parker spoke with the attorney who says he has firsthand knowledge. Terry?
That's right, Tiffany. I just spoke with attorney Spencer Kuven. He's handled some of Epstein's earliest cases and says, while there's no neat client list, Epstein's black book, phone records, and surveillance tapes hold secrets that could expose high-profile people, and he's certain the public has not been told everything.
I know firsthand that they haven't disclosed everything. I can tell you that with 100% certainty that not everything has been disclosed.
Epstein victims attorney Spencer Kuven says there is no so-called client list of people who used Epstein to set them up with underage sex victims. But he says there is something else.
So is there a, quote, list of these people? No, it doesn't exist. There's no list, but there's a phone book. And Epstein knew who he knew, and so did Maxwell. So when these high-profile individuals would make the call because they happen to be in town for the winter and say, hey, I need somebody today, then Maxwell would round up the girls and send someone over.
Kuven says his clients shared names of some of those so-called customers, names that remain hidden because of attorney-client privilege and NDAs signed as part of their settlements.
I'm aware, because of the work that I did on the cases, of numerous high-profile individuals, which I am unfortunately not allowed to disclose, that exist, that were utilizing the services of Epstein and Maxwell to obtain girls while they were on the island.
And there is more evidence, though, Kuven says, that is still not being released. Videotapes found in Epstein's homes, taken from multiple surveillance cameras.
There were thousands of hours of videotapes taken from inside the homes of Jeffrey Epstein that have, I have no doubt, have video of people on them. People that have never been named before, I never identified before. Let's see the tapes.
Kuvan says he doesn't know why the government seems to be protecting the men who had sex with Epstein's teenage victims, but he has a theory.
They're probably very wealthy donors to the party, and as a result, they don't want to shake the apple cart.
As for that newly released prison video of Epstein's final hours, Kuvan says it proves nothing about how the convicted sex offender died.
All the video does is show that they're trying real hard to get people to believe one thing and not another.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sad thing. And will we ever know the real truth about that? I doubt it.
Well,
Spencer Kuvan says not everyone in Epstein's little black book was a client. Some of those names Epstein probably didn't even know, but he would have liked to converse with the powerful, giving them access to girls in exchange for introductions to other powerful people or invitations to exclusive events. Kuvan is not hopeful the names will be confirmed anytime soon.
okay, so this is the thing. I think there's a gap between the citizen, the everyday citizen, and how this works. The everyday citizen, you have to understand, this is not just about justice for the victims of the assaults. This is about the other crimes behind the scenes. Blackmail. Yes. Extortion. So blackmail of Jeffrey Epstein, extortion of Jeffrey Epstein, but also who else has access to those files already that's not part of the U.S. government? Yes. Other governments. Russia, Israel, China. They can use this information if it's been collected about senators, congressional members. They can use this to meddle in U.S. affairs. They can threaten people. They can target people. They can promote people to be elected. You see? This totally undermines the United States governance, its ability to govern, to do the people's will. The people are the ones that pay the taxes. 75%, 70 and 75% of federal income taxes collected, that's what pays for the federal government, military, Congress, Senate, all these different agencies and things like that. It's the taxpayer that pays 75% of that. I'm talking about the regular payroll tax, folks. The average earner, the middle class is who's paying for that. They're using your tax dollars to do things for others that have nothing to do with the United States. That's what you got to understand. They've created a separation between the people, what you can have, what you deserve with your tax dollars, versus what they want the others to have. Two different classes, an elite class and an average class. The elite class is getting the tax breaks. The ones that are basically the pedo protectors. The pedo protectors are, in fact, the ones getting, and this is really sad, they're actually the ones getting the tax break. I don't know what's up with American people and, not putting the dots together. Some of y'all put the dots together, but we're going to do it together. The people that don't want the Epstein files released are the same ones that gave the billionaires a $1 trillion cut. They are the same ones that are taking your health care. They are the same ones that are taking your civil rights, your due process. I hope you know what due process means. That means like the police can't just come and grab you up without already suspecting and knowing you've committed a crime. They can't just stop you and start questioning you and checking your pockets and all of this shit, your car, your home. That's called due process. They have to already know that you have committed a crime, have some reasonable suspicion. Well, due process is gone in the U.S. now. These people that tax break just went to, they're the exact same politicians saying they do not want the Epstein files to be released. These are the exact same politicians that got Trump elected.
So, for the first time in decades, Congress is giving a green light to a White House request to take back funding that had already been approved. This could just be the first of more to come. Late night vision bill clawing back $9 billion meant for public broadcasting and foreign aid programs. Those, of course, are prime targets for Republicans looking to slash spending. News Nation's Libby Dean is live at the White House this morning. Libby, good morning to you. When's the president expected to put pen to paper on this?
Well, quickly, Marky, he's going to sign this at 2:30 this afternoon. This is a victory for the president, and he wants to sign it into law because he's made these cuts really a top priority, and that's why he's signing this bill into law later today here at the White House. Trump reacting to all of this passing overnight on True Social, writing, quote, House approves $9 billion cuts package, including atrocious NPR and public broadcasting, where billions of dollars a year were wasted. Republicans have tried doing this for 40 years and failed, but no more. This is big. The cuts include more than $1 billion in public broadcast funding and nearly $8 million in cuts to foreign aid programs aimed at fighting disease, famine, and promoting global stability. Members of Congress from both sides of the aisle are raising concerns over these cuts. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, one of them, arguing these global aid cuts will hurt small U.S. businesses and reward our foreign adversaries in the end. Now, the president still able to get this over the finish line ahead of...
So that's where it couples with the foreign agents. Jeffrey Epstein had been collecting information on his fellow pedophiles, right? For decades. Videotapes, other documentation as well. And he's documented things that were told. He instructed his slaves, sex slaves, that's what they called themselves, to bring back information about his clients. What did they talk about? Any other information? Things like this. So Jeffrey Epstein was definitely collecting information. But the thing here is that it's over a long period of time. There's been, you can't collect that amount of information over 2 decades. And remember, a lot of it he continued to do after his Florida conviction. So the world knew about Jeffrey Epstein. Every spy on earth knew about Jeffrey Epstein. All you have to do is send a rich elitist person who's a spy to Jeffrey Epstein to see if you can get some pedophile sex. And you're in the club. You're in the door. You're in the house, literally. That's all it would take. And then you can do whatever else you want after that, given your, means and ways as a spy to collect information, But you know where his house is. And if you know Jeffrey Epstein is going to be in New York that week, you might want to go to Palm Beach and get in his house. If you know he's in Palm Beach or at Epstein Island, you might want to go and get inside of the New York house. So he had safes where he collected this stuff, and he had drives. So he had more than one drive with information on it, multiple ways of getting information. You would have to be dumb to think that all the houses, again, he had these places in Texas. There's more. A lot of the media is now reporting all the places Epstein had. He had them in, Michigan, Texas, different places you wouldn't think. The odds are highly in favor of foreign agents having access to the same material. Just like the odds are highly in favor that others before Cash Patel and Bondi, like who's the prosecutor that just got let go, Comey, who prosecuted Diddy. She just got fired by the Trump administration. She saw all these files. And others working with her seeing the evidences. So you're not going to just be able to disappear this stuff through lying. So the American people need to know this. if you put your foot down like this is affecting your life, you will win. But if you let them convince you through the media that, oh, this can never happen, they'll never release it, and oh, we're never going to know. Nah, you're going to know. There's only two ways you're going to know, though. You're going to know because messed up shit keeps happening to your future, or you're going to know because they release these damn not the tapes, all the evidences, and you can stop it. Two ways to know: getting your ass whooped knowing, or stopping it knowing. It's up to you. It's in your hands. Once again, I'm an American citizen. I don't live in the U.S. I live outside of the U.S. I live in Denmark. Thank God. I have universal health care. I have a union job. I have the same rights all other Danes have. Housing insurance if I need it. 2 years unemployment if I need it. My kids get paid to go to school. All of this within the tax structure. We in Europe, after we pay for our taxes and our expenses, we take more of our own money home to our own pockets than the average American citizen does. You best believe it. So I'm only saying this because I'm your friend, but I can't force you to drink the water. That's your responsibility. I have zero responsibility for the outcome of your life. You have to take that in your own hands and take it serious. Just like I took mine. I made my choices. You got to make yours. And I've been making my choices my whole life. That's how I became the person I am, by making my choices, not by being a follower, by being a thinker. Growing up in Northeast DC, living with, like everybody else have to live in Capitol Hill East, having to use my brain, growing up among ex-civil rights white folks, lawyers, ex-civil rights black folks, activists and lawyers, ex-civil rights people, growing up in a city with a lot of different people. I had to think, growing up in a city where I did my first report on Nigeria in like the 6th grade, where I went to a school where we had to sing the national black anthem. All the kids, white, black, Asian. We also sang the American anthem, but the national anthem, but we sang the black national anthem too. Very diverse, very interesting mix of people, very interesting history. So I learned to think and make my choices. I know the world is big and I'm a part of the world. My job as an individual is not to just die under some lunacy. So in any case, I'm out, y'all. I appreciate everybody for showing up. I'll be back. Oh, wait a second. One other thing. Big up to Adam Schiff. I want to just show you a couple of things that Adam said, and then I'm going to be out because it's important for people to know. They're trying to scare people. They're literally trying to scare people. And they want to scare people into silence, into thinking you can do nothing about it.
How's it different this time?
Fundamentally, it's different because Donald Trump was much less successful in the first term in creating a climate of fear. This is what he's after. He wants to make the law firms afraid. He wants to make universities afraid. He wants to make immigrants afraid. He wants to make citizens afraid. He wants to make news organizations, CBS and Paramount, afraid. He wants to make ABC afraid. And he is succeeding. He is succeeding. And more than anything else, he wants to make Republicans in Congress afraid because he wants them to do his will. He wants the judges to be afraid they'll get impeached if they cross him, afraid for their own personal safety if they cross him. He wants to create a climate of fear. And he has done so in 6 months, which is radically different than the first term. In part, it's different because in the first term, there were at least some people to stand up to him. The Secretary Mattis's, the John Kelly's and others that had some stature were willing to say, Mr. President, that's a stupid ass idea. Or that's an unlawful idea, or I'm not going to go along with that idea. And also...
Yeah, so, and I concur with that. But the people still decide what goes on. At the end of the day, it's the people. My advice is do not allow them to divide you by race, by religion. The United States has always had different religions since its conception. And even though they may not have been prominent, the history, if you really study the history, it's there. That's why they separated church from state. There was a reason, even if you don't know the stories yourself about why. They used these divisions really to conduct class warfare. So although there is racism, although there is discrimination, they use it for the purpose of discriminating against the largest amount of people possible. That includes your broke ass, cracker ass too. MAGA people. Excuse my language, but yeah. Freedom of speech. The ones that identify as crackers, that's it includes you. And if you don't identify as that, then poor red states. It includes you. You're part of the new slavery. So if you're sitting there and you're allowing them to do all of this just because you don't like a few immigrants running around, or you think that this is how you deal with immigrants, guess what? Joke's on you, buddy. Joke's on you, because they just cut your health care. They just cut. You don't even have protection under the federal government against a natural disaster anymore. Joke's on you. You got the lowest federal minimum wage in the country, red states. Joke's on you. So stop letting these people use prejudice against you. You know, be clever enough to just understand a good man or a good woman is just that, no matter what you look like. A good person is just that. You also have to understand that too. You know, everyone has prejudices, but only a fool turns away a good person. You see, so they're relying on you to be a fool to get this done. So, you know, don't let Trump and them divide you into separate circles so they can conquer you, because they are conquering you. And when they're finished conquering you, they're going to molest your kids. They're going to, you know, continue to have these freak-offs right in your face. More foreign agents are going to get control over that information, while the media, who gets part of the tax break that Trump put out, they will withhold a little bit of information too. So, you know, they took away public radio, public television. You know, now all you're going to have left is corporate interest news. And if you accept that, you may as well accept being a slave. This is 2025. Make your choice. Yeah, peace on that one. I hope things work out. I really hope things work out. Peace. Subscribe. Click the like button. I'll be back 24 hours, something like that, or less.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 rows to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. diversionary tactic to make the big score. No diamonds in the more, and then you know they want more. But they wanna keep it low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack, and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like